All right, so hello. So what I'm gonna do here right now, what I'm working on, and the reason why I'm live streaming it is just because I want to, I want to document everything. Um, so I'm gonna go over to my Twitter and I'm just gonna read through my tweets basically, and possibly if Mo made any responses to my tweets, I'll read that too. But I'm gonna switch computers because that one is the slow one. All right, so I plan to read my tweets here. But, Serving consecutive sentences. Ruby quartz. Here's a ruby quartz. Dates. On some ceremonial slave shit. We can make this better. No, yes, we will. We're just looking for something inside us to kill. We can make this better. Before long, iron the bones. Little celery chop. This is getting rough. Okay, so I hereby present you with the reality sitcom. Earlier this year, I decided to do stand-up comedy. My first set went okay, but then I got COVID. At some point during the lockdown, I realized that the way I consume comedy had radically changed. I was now following comedians very closely instead of just watching their shows or stand-up. Then I watched the show Dave, and I realized that you can make the exact same show with a stand-up comedian instead of a rapper. And obviously Dave is a comedian, but you can make it about a stand-up, like a true stand-up. And also, I also realized that because every single show, every single comedian has a podcast. And so you could just, when things happen between comedians, you could splice together their podcast and make like a office style sitcom out of it. And then, I met two Somali comedians. I met Abzi first at the terminal, and I told him about this reality sitcom idea, and he thought it was interesting. And then we talked about it a lot. And he just so happened to not be allowed in the bar that night because he hadn't brought his ID. So we had a whole night to just hash it out when normally he would have been doing sets and stuff like that. And after a couple weeks or so, he introduced me to Mo, and Mo and Abzi would start going to open mics, and I would go with them and mostly film them. Although I did do some, I was also writing my own jokes, but I wasn't prioritizing doing sets myself. So I now have like I have I think I have a season's worth of footage, or we could easily uh, add extra and get to a season's worth, assuming that a season is like maybe 6 episodes long. I think that's pretty good for like a pilot season. And then so each episode is going to be roughly 10 minutes on Obzi, 10 minutes on Mo, and 10 minutes on myself. And I guess the part for myself, I'm going to be very like, I'm going to steal very liberally from the Nathan Fielder method, where I just sort of like talk about what it was like trying to capture these moments or whatever. And then for the Obzi part, it'll be like clips of his set and then him talking about his set. And then it'll be for the Mo part, it's clips of Mo's set and then clips of Mo talking about his set. Then for episode 2, at least for Mo, we go into like what is guerrilla comedy, all of his influences and all the things that he wants to do in comedy. I'm just gonna go through Mo right now, and then I'll do Obzi later and myself last. For episode 2, Mo is gonna describe about how. Oh no, yeah. So that's I already said episode 2. That's episode 2. He's going to talk about guerrilla comedy, and he's going to talk about how he got his jaw broken being assaulted during guerrilla comedy. Episode 3, I have the full video of Obzi's set at Jameson and Mo's set at Jameson, and we have some correlated podcasting material, but we could easily, that's something we could easily fill in, because Obzi or Mo could just watch their own set and comment on it now. And then in episode 4, episode 4 is like specifically focused on bombing, basically. So for Obzi, he's going to talk about trying to do the Jeffrey Epstein joke and bombing. We already have like recorded. We definitely have recorded or a video of the story behind that, and we could definitely add in more pretty easily. For Mo, this is about the thing that happened at Terminal, where he walked like half of the crowd there. And then for me, my 10-minute segment here is actually it actually ties together the plot of the whole episode, because Obzi's is about the Jeffrey Epstein jokes. And in my segment, I actually make a Jeffrey Epstein joke that is the culmination of the back and forth about Jeffrey Epstein. And then also for Mo, the reason why my set ties it together is because my set was immediately after Mo's set. So like me just talking about what happened with Mo's set is already, so I just tie everything together like real nice, like a Seinfeld episode or a Curbed episode. Plot A and plot B come together during plot C there. Not saying that that's going to happen every episode, but that's kind of cool that it did happen. It can happen in that episode. And then episode 5 is about episode 5 has actually a similar sort of a pattern, because it's about like me trying to bring Mo to improv, and Obzi like being very flaky with the transportation to improv, and then Mo being very flaky, bailing out of going to the improv show at the last second, and then Obzi bringing Mo to Stillwater and then leaving Mo in Stillwater. So there's a lot for all of us to talk about. I don't know how much video there is there. And then episode 6 is just like all 3 of them talk about what they expect in the future. All right, and let me go through the Obzi's arc one time since I was focused on Mo's there. Back. All right, so I'm trying to send Mo a message on Twitter at the same time as I'm doing this shit. Let's see what we got here. Shit, I don't have the right thing. Anyways, so for Obzi's arc, it goes episode 1. Obzi talks about, just introduces himself. Episode 2, Obzi talks about his the things that he's had, the issues he's had with the comedy scene before, because he's had some very colorful interactions with some other comedians before I met him. And then episode 3 is all about the Jameson, because for Obzi it's all about Jeffrey Epstein, and we can get into, we have the set itself, or one set. We have video recording of, or at least audio recording of Obzi talking about his uproar set that went horribly, and then just Obzi can just talk about that and talk about doing jokes on sensitive topics and how his thinking on that topic has evolved over the past few months, because I think it really has. And then episode 5, I'm going to talk about why I wanted Mo to go to Stillwater, or why I wanted Mo to go to improv. And then I think this one is where Obzi and Mo, I'm just going to let everybody hash out their shit with each other. Just all 3 comedians talking shit about each other as much as possible. So episode 5 is just the shit talking episode. And it's kind of meant to make you wonder whether or not these guys are going to be able to get along anymore. Whether or not it's all going to go to shit, and then leave it there, because episode 6 doesn't give you any more information about what happened after that. It's just talking about their future, their expectations for comedy and stuff like that. And again, for me, I think I said this earlier, but for me, I'm going to be talking a lot about what the experience of trying to do this is. It's very self-referential, self-aware, maybe. That's all.